Cool. I think one thing we probably should have done in the introduction is actually introduce you. Are a real deal chemist. You are always in the books and everything. You're not just some guy who's reading a website and looking at NIH.gov. I guess you can do that too, but you actually you have the degrees to back all this stuff up, and that seems to be like you're doing a lot of stuff in that area, like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, besides reading papers and stuff all the time, I do consulting for chemistry, and I work in a lab where we set up and revamped essentially all their whole QC stuff. I introduced new testing for botanicals, and now we're doing a heavy metal. I know a little bit about a little bit with chemistry.
Welcome to PricePlow.
Welcome to the PricePlow podcast. We finally have the elusive Guerrilla Chemist here with us today, and your name has been very, very active. So welcome to the channel, Guerrilla. How are things going?
Things are going well. Like you said, very active. Lots of different things in my life going on, including I do in a collaboration with the company, and I have my own company.
Right.
So time's been busy. Plus, I also work in a lab, so I do a lot of different stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, so today is June 1st, 2019. It's Saturday. Thanks for joining us on your week and everything. So yeah, let's kind of start with the collabs and everything, because that's what Ben's been taking, and I'm about to get on the train as well. And it's the new Beast Super Test Max, which I'm holding. Ben's holding up there as well. And my name is Mike Roberto. With me is my co-host, Benjamin Kane. And so Guerrilla, how did this all start? It sounds like you already had kind of a relationship with Beast a little bit from way back in the day, or what was the story there?
Yeah, so Anthony from Beast, his nephew and I went to school, undergrad at UCF together, and Pete, and we bounced at the same college bar together. Awesome. We're going back to 2003, maybe 2004. No, sorry, past that. 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. And so I've always would bump into him at the Olympia, and we'd always shoot shit after college and stuff. And he introduced me to his uncle, and then I got a random phone call from Pete, or a text, after I saw him at LA Fit, I think it was, or the Olympia, one of the two, and his uncle wanted to ask me if I was interested in doing a collaboration. And this is before Chemix was even a thought. Chemix actually came out after this, so we talked about it, and he wanted to do a couple products together, and I said, sure, let's do something. And the Super Test Maximum was the first one we did. Was that something they asked for then? Because they've had Super Test out for a while, and it's been a hot seller for, like, with tweaks over the years and everything. How did the conversation go? Did they ask, hey, we want this, or did they just let you kind of run wild with anything? They reached out to me because they wanted more innovation. They felt like they needed to not revamp the brand, because the brand has been around forever. Yeah, it's strong. But just come out with like the newer ingredients and some branded stuff, and what really works and what doesn't. And they trust me because I do all the reading of the papers and stuff. So they had an idea for formula. They sent me kind of like a backbone of what they were looking at, and then I tweaked a lot of it with stuff that I wanted to do, like the ashwagandha. The KSM, I added that at 600 because I know that's the dose that you really want. And I changed some of the anti-estrogen stuff to different things that I think work best as for a natural product. And I think the cumulative effect of all of the testosterone boosting things actually really works for someone who's natural or somebody who has low testosterone. I was happy with how the product came out. Awesome. Are you an ashwagandha user yourself? Yeah, I like ashwagandha a lot. I think KSM, I like that one better than Sensoril, just because it's more of the natural plant. They take the root and how the alkaloids are actually in the plant, the ratios, versus just going for the higher withanolide concentration, like Sensoril does. So I think that the entourage effect of that is better versus just getting a higher percentage of one ingredient. Awesome. Yeah, so it seems like KSM 66 has definitely been way more popular and everything. So what's your take on I'm not sure how to totally pronounce it, but the Primavi Shilajit? So this is an ingredient that always seems to do me well, to put it simply. But yeah, the fulvic acid in
Yeah.
there, I think, can really help with absorption of everything in your body. Like it's really, they use it in soils. I don't know if you knew that, for absorption of like minerals and stuff like that. So it helps with absorption of minerals, but it's also been shown to boost testosterone levels in men. So I think Prima V is a pretty good ingredient. And I think this one's a 50% fulvic acid. I think is one of the higher ones. You don't want to get a pure fulvic acid because, excuse me, you're missing out on the rest of the properties of it. And some studies say that the higher you get, the less beneficial it is for you. So that's why we went with the Prima V1. Plus, we wanted a branded ingredient that we could trust and not just a random generic.
Right, you definitely have a lot of that. The shilajit, it's actually not even an herb. It's more like a rock, if anything. I'm not sure if you've ever like handled it or anything, but it's definitely a unique ingredient that I kind of dig on anything that's already got it. So this isn't just like a testosterone booster, though, is what I think is interesting. Like, I'd like to hear kind of your thoughts on the S7, because that's been coming on strong in terms of like pre-workout supplements and nitric oxide enhancement and everything. And that's sold by Futureceuticals. So what made you put this in here? Did Beast kind of say like, hey, we should make this into a bit of a pre-workout matrix as well, or was that your undertaking, or how'd that go?
No, Anthony talked about, he mentioned, have you heard of S7? And at the time I hadn't, because they just released it at Supply Side West last year, and this was when our conversation was going on. So I didn't sample it at the time he mentioned it. I took note of it, and then I looked up the study, and it was a very interesting mechanism of how it works, essentially by quenching free radicals and like reactive oxygen species and stuff like that. Your body can have more bioavailability of nitric oxide because that's a radical itself. And so if it binds to a free radical, it's useless no matter how much you're producing. So it enhances the bioavailability of that. And we put it in there more for blood flow, and because if you're going with a testosterone booster, you want more blood flow, not only to get everything to all the nutrients and stuff to your muscles, but also for like if you have ED or if you wanted more stamina or something like that. So that's one of the reasons why we added it, for the dual effect of that.
Gotcha. And then the other thing, so there's a couple of things in here. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on laxagenin. So I include it in the formula. So I think you're more supportive of it than cons. What's your take on it?
There's more recent studies that have come out as far as that group of plant sterols that are doing well. Laxagenin only has one study, and it has there's a patent saying that it helps other hormones enhancement in your body. So I think if by putting in the 5-alpha hydroxy laxagenin, it can give the user an added benefit. In my opinion, I think it would work well by also diminishing cortisol based on its structure. I think that's a possible mechanism of action, and it could prevent muscle breakdown. Anecdotally, some people really like it and get good results, men and women. And I've tried it before, and there's a noticeable effect. The studies aren't comprehensive enough to know exactly what they're doing on that particular molecule, but the whole class of the steroids or the plant sterols has a lot of research behind it to show that they can build muscle, especially if you're boosting your testosterone.
Cool. Yeah, I think some of the things that I kind of see are like, and nothing extreme or crazy, but like minor increases in strength for me is where I've always kind of noticed just a little bit of an uptick, and I'll take that. I'm definitely not as strong as you two guys. So.
I was in the hospital, so I'm weak right now.
Are you feeling okay, man? I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about that at all or anything.
I'm starting to feel better, probably like 70, 80%. I lost probably 12 pounds, so I'm skinny right now.
Sorry to hear that, man.
But I started working out again a week and a half ago, just light stuff, just to get in there. And so I feel better enough to do that. I got cleared from the doctors to do that and train. So hopefully things work out well. But yeah, I feel much better than I did a couple weeks ago.
Gotcha. And one last question on the Super Test Max before we move on. So you have a liver and kidney support factors here, which I'm not sure is that if you're using that just as a natty alone, I don't know, is that really necessary or not, or is this really kind of, in my take, and I think what we wrote is like this is enables it to be used alongside of like a more strong PCT if you're kind of cycling off something a little more hardcore. Was that kind of the plan there with the high dose of NAC, or do you think it's solid for a natty on its own too?
I think NAC is a great ingredient for everybody to take. It's on my list of things that I take every day, just because your liver essentially metabolizes everything. And so if your liver is damaged for any reason, then you're not functioning correctly and you're not being able to process everything, and then problems start to happen. So I think that it's a good ingredient just to have. But yeah, we wanted to make a comprehensive product. Anthony wanted to have everything because he figured a lot of people would use this as a PCT.
Okay, yeah.
And so if you're coming off something like that, then you do want the kidney and liver support for sure.
I think something that I also was telling people when they were kind of, like, there were a couple people push back saying like, look, this is not toxic. Like, you don't really need to worry about it. But if your liver and your kidneys are at 100%, like, you're not burning fat, building muscle as well either. Mm-hmm. So it's like a supportive matrix. Like, I'm dead in my off season right now taking this. I have no other PEDs in my system at all, and this is just kind of helping me like stay strong, progress in the gym where I can. Like, Blaxogen has like an acute benefit. But it's nothing that, like, I'm not expecting like to have to go run blood work after this. I'm not worried about my liver and kidneys, but I know that it's supporting me. I know that it's helping out. So, is it a whole? I mean, if you're worried about your liver and kidneys, you should be taking a whole product for that.
Right. If you have issues for those, besides seek a doctor, there's other things that are just for liver or just for kidney. But we tried to include what we could to get it as a complete product that would have those options for you in there, preventative or otherwise.
Did they come to you with these specific categories, or did they give you what was the scope of what they told you? Did they say they wanted testosterone, growth, estrogen, and DHT and hormones, or did they kind of like what exactly did they tell you off the bat?
Like, he sent me a skeleton formula and an outline of what they wanted the product, and he said, "Feel free to change anything you want."
Cool.
And so I did, but he wanted the liver and kidney support and the DHT, which I think the DHT is important. Not a lot of people think about that. Most people think about estrogen conversion, but if you're blocking all the estrogen, it only has one pathway to convert into more DHT. So I think that's important if you're elevating testosterone endogenously too. So, but yes, to answer your question, he had categories he wanted to hit, and then we talked about the S7 that he liked. So, and I liked it, and we wanted that for the blood flow and erectile function and stuff like that.
And it's only 50 milligrams, so it's not going to take up much space, which,
right.
With nitric oxide boosters, you can't put 6 grams of citrulline into a capsule, so that makes sense. All right, cool. Moving on. The thing a lot of people might want to hear about is the Neuro Beast, the nootropic you're formulating with Beast, or you have formulated. I'm not sure if that label's been released yet. I haven't seen it. But I know that it's been done by you, and it's got efficacious ingredients in it. So can you give us any teasers just yet?
It's got a hefty dose of alpha GPC. Bacopa's in there.
Oh, nice! I love Bacopa.
We had an original formula, but then because I really like hordenine as a MAO inhibitor, and then when the FDA wrote that letter saying they're not banned but they're on the watch list of that and hygienamine, both of those I really like, and because of where he sells on Amazon and stuff, he didn't want to include that in there. So I switched it out with piperine, which is actually a really strong MAO inhibitor as well, not only for prevention of glucuronidation, but this one also acts as a strong MAO inhibitor. So we switched that out. Vinpocetin is in there, which is an ingredient that I think works really well over time. And there's a couple of other ones that I'm not going to give away, but the label should be out soon. I took a while to tweak everything, and then I finally got samples right before I went to the hospital, so I was able to try it before I went in. Because now they told me to cut out all supplements, so I haven't taken anything.
Yeah, but it's not what put you in the hospital, is it? Just that's me. Sorry.
No,
Too
it
soon.
did not.
Well, cool. So is it a powder then, or is it a pill-based formula?
The samples I got were powders. I think just because of the sheer mass of the serving size, it would have been a lot of capsules.
Right.
To
Okay,
use.
that's good to hear. A lot of people are liking that too, going in that direction. So with the hordening and stuff. So yeah, Beast is obviously, and people can sign up on priceplow.com/beast to get alerted for when those are out and ready, and we'll email you when that happens. But when it comes to like a major brand like Beast, yeah, they want to stay very, very compliant because yeah, selling on Amazon is a big deal. And if you get a letter from the FDA, Amazon's just gonna kick you off. Like that's pretty much, it's
Right.
tough to debate that. On the other hand, though, some of your more hardcore stuff, you're not afraid to put hordenine in a Chemix product, are you?
No, it's in the pre-workout.
There you go.
Hordenine at a fairly high dose, just because I think it works better. At most people put in like 25 or 50 mgs. I think we put in 150.
Oh Jesus!
Because I think because it works really well. And then between that and the Kana really has this effect of bringing everything up to the next level. So even though the stim doses, which are proprietary, aren't really high, to be honest. The caffeine is 350, which is whatever. There's part of it's caffeine citrate, which I really like because it hits you more quickly.
Yeah.
But the hordenine will make all the other amine-based stimulants that are in there last longer, and the Kana kind of brings everything to another level of as euphoric. It's a SRI, so it releases serotonin, the mood enhancer. Everything complements each other in that formula. So, which is why I wanted to do a MAO inhibitor with the serotonin release, so that you can get kind of the effect of all of that together.
Nice, yeah.
And I researched it. I didn't just like dump stuff in there. I researched to see what you can get like interactions with, and as far as increasing serotonin and then kind of inhibiting its metabolism. So I looked into all the toxicity studies to make sure I wasn't doing anything damaging.
Cool. I think one thing we probably should have done in the introduction is actually introduce you. Are a real deal chemist. You are always in the books and everything. You're not just some guy who's reading a website and looking at NIH.gov. I guess you can do that too, but you actually you have the degrees to back all this stuff up, and that seems to be like you're doing a lot of stuff in that area, like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, besides reading papers and stuff all the time, I do consulting for chemistry, and I work in a lab where we set up and revamped essentially all their whole QC stuff, so that way everything's way more accurate. I introduced new testing for botanicals, and now we're doing a heavy metals in-house, and we're setting all that up. So I know a little bit about a little bit with chemistry.
So maybe like a good question to close this out is, you've got a lot of different brands that you work with right now, at least two that we know of. Right now you got a nootropic coming out for two of them. How do you split up your interest? You kind of answered this question a little bit with the hordenine, like legality stuff, but if you're faced with one nootropic for two different companies, do you look at the philosophies of the brands and kind of like make it appropriate to them? How do you choose the differences between a product for two different companies?
Well, with what you said, like it depends on the brand, because Chemix are two completely different brands with different consumers. So while both products are effective for Chemix, I'm digging into like older papers, looking up different ingredients that do different things that are more, I don't want to use the word hardcore because it's a nootropic, but things that to my knowledge haven't really been used, and at a dose that I can use them, because we have a price point and Beast has a price point, and they're not necessarily the same. And so when I formulate stuff, I'll make a formula first and then see what the cost is, and if it's, even if it's on the high side, I'm okay with it, and my partner James is okay with it because we like the formula a lot. Where Beast may have a set like hard point where like, we need to hit this, and so what I like, the formulas will be different in ingredients, because some of the stuff I like to use is really exotic for Chemix, if you've noticed. versus Beast. And then again, we don't sell on Amazon, so I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, where some of these ingredients, not that they're illegal or anything, but I don't know how strict Amazon really is with this stuff, because I see UPEP on there all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess we don't sell on there, so I'm not super familiar. But to answer your question, yes, they're two different brands, two different customer bases. So it wasn't hard to differentiate. Like, I made a solid product for Beast, and I like the formula a lot. I'll make something completely different for Chemix, just because I'll change ingredients that I've been researching on myself and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've never seen even remotely close to that dose of Kana in any other supplements. So right when that came out, I was pretty excited to give it a go. It's
that's the dose that people really use it at. If you go to South Africa and they chew the leaves, it's between 500 and 1500 at a time to get the immune enhancement. So you really need that solid dose to get the benefit of it, in my opinion. I played around with a lot of doses before we settled on 1,000.
Awesome.
And
yeah.
if you ever seen that stuff, it's like dirt.
Yeah.
People have complained about the flavoring of the pre-workout, but there's 2 grams of mushrooms from Pico 2. There's 600 milligrams of lion's mane. There's a gram of Kana. So right there, you're almost at 4 grams of earth,
right,
and dirt to try and flavor. And we actually did try and do it naturally, because I wanted to do a naturally flavored product, and it just tasted awful. So we had to sweeten it to make it better.
Yeah, I think the Chemix demographic is okay with sucralose and artificial flavoring and everything. But at the end of the day, when you buy a Chemix product like that, and I try to like kind of make that clear in my review, you're not buying this for the flavor, and you have, like you said, you have 4 grams of actives that just are not going to be easy to flavor. No one else is doing this. You're doing this because no one else has made a, you're trying this product because no one else has made a product like this, and that's what we like love about it. And it sounds like you and James have a pretty cool thing going on where you get to both do your thing and do it well. We just had him on the podcast as well.
Yeah, we'll come up with ideas for products and what we want in the line, but he lets me do all that, the formulation side. I let him do all the sales stuff. He's been coming up with the stickers for the bottles, the shakers that came out. That was all James. We got more apparel coming out. The hats I made. Nice. I don't know if we're going to sell them to everybody yet, but I just made them as promo items. But yeah, we have a really good working relationship. I trust James. I've known James for a long time.
Right.
I know he likes to rant, but I think he makes valid points when he does, for the most part.
Awesome. We're hitting our time limit, so I want to make sure that gets on his way when he needs to. But Mike, you want to finish off with like the outro on any info?
I was just going to say thank you. I know your time is valuable, and the story is Guerrilla has to go to lacrosse, so I'm glad to see you back on the field and everything too. Is there anything else you want to say? I think we can go into more, because Ben has tried Chemix Pump and Intra, and it sounds like this pump product might need its own video, just like to have us explain a little bit more what in the hell's going on over there, because Ben's talking a mad game about it, and he's not even like the most like pumpy bodybuilding-ish person. He's going for strength, but you blew him away with it. So I don't know if you want to quickly throw in something about that, or just we'll subscribe to the channel and come and do it again.
We can do a full video if you want to talk about that, and then Quarter Block, because I'm really proud of Quarter Block too. That's another unique product that is out that I've seen. Nobody uses Imodin really, or uses it at that dose with the 75 milligrams of piperine to make sure that it gets absorbed properly. So we can talk about those on later. Quick thing about the pump is it's 7 ingredients. 4 of them are trademarked or branded. One of them is a mix that I made myself that we branded the Endo Pump. We used S7 in there. And then it's got your basics of 6 grams of citrulline, because I think citrulline, it works for everybody, no matter who takes it. I think it's a solid ingredient. Glycer Pump's in there, which I really like a lot. And then 5 grams of betaine, because I like betaine. Yeah. Another one of my favorite ingredients to use. So we can do a whole video on that, but I am proud of how that came out. Everyone that's messaged me said they loved it, and it's really strong. And then I threw in the Genema in there if you're taking carbs, so you get that insulin pump. Because I noticed that when I made Glycolog, I took Glycolog with carbs and then went to work out, and I noticed you can actually feel your muscles fill up with glycogen. So I wanted to add one of those type of ingredients in the pump as well.
Nice.
So I figure most people eat carbs before they train anyways.
All right. Well, then, so stay tuned. Yeah, so that is the Chemix pump product, and we watch Blackstone Labs' sales and stuff, and Glycolog is still killing it. So you did a great job with that formula. Good to see you carrying over some of the stuff you learned over to the Chemix brand. So PricePlow.com/beast and PricePlow.com/Chemix is where you can learn a little bit more about this stuff and sign up for the alerts, because it sounds like you got a lot more coming out, and we're hopefully going to do some giveaways as well. So try to get in on that, but. A lot of people have been signing up, so don't assume you're going to win. You might just need to go and get some Chemix pump on your own. And I got to try this after Ben's been ranting like nonstop offline. So, Guerrilla, thank you so much. We went a little bit over time. We really appreciate your time. Good luck at lacrosse, and we will talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. And then, let's get another video going. We can go into more detail on all the other products.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, I'm excited about the Beast stuff. I think it'll do really well. I'm happy with the way everything's going. We got 2 more products with Beast in the works. So
excellent. Okay, good to hear. We'll stay tuned then on that. See you later.
All right, later, guys.